Alrighty, everyone. This video we're going to go over intensity. So we already went over the bigger picture with the macro cycles, mesocycles, and microcycles, and then we went over uh, two examples of how to build your volume comparing sessions or comparing weeks. But then you might be thinking, well, how do you set your intensity, or how did you get those percentages that you came up with? So there's a couple different ways out there to do it. And obviously, the more you rate programs, the more you'll know just off the top of your head. But one way to do it is kind of here. I just took a part of it. It's called Prilepin's table or Prilepin's chart. So basically, what they did is they looked at training logs for weightlifters, like all the elite weightlifters going to Olympics, and saw what they were hitting for sets and reps at specific percentages. And I took the sets part out for now. It tells you kind of what the total rep range is when you combine all the sets and what the optimal rep range is that they found. But for now, I'm just looking at the intensity compared to the number of reps for a single set. So basically is what it gave. If you notice, nothing is over 6 reps because it's weightlifting and they're not really doing for any of their variations of their clean and jerk or their snatch over 6 reps. They're not doing any kind of 8s or 10s or 12s or anything like some powerlifters might do or bodybuilders. So that's why you're only seeing from 1 rep to 6 reps. So obviously these will be very easy because 55% for 6 reps per set is going to be very easy, but that's just what they were doing. So you're seeing for this rep, for this percent range, you're getting 3 to 6 reps. Also for this rep percentage range, you're getting 3 to 6 reps just because they're not going any more reps than that. Then you actually see the reps drop. So from 80 to 90%, 2 to 4 reps, and then 90% plus, they're only doing singles or doubles. So that kind of gives you a starting point when you're building a training block, when you're coming back from a competition, coming back from injury, coming back from time off, anything like that. And you want to start off easy. Like I said, we always do those intro blocks. You kind of start off with either this percentage range or this percentage range, and this kind of gives you the guideline right here. So maybe your first workout back after a competition might just be 65% for 3 reps, just to kind of get back in the movement of things in the gym, get the blood flowing, avoid any injuries after the competition. Then maybe you'll bump it up and you'll keep the 65%, but do 6 reps per set. So now you're making it a little bit more difficult, getting a little more volume in so your body gets ready for it, but it's still pretty easy. And then after that, maybe you'll start moving up into your actual main percent range, which is that 70 to 80%. So then maybe you'll be doing the 70% for 6 reps, maybe we'll get the 75% for 6 reps. You might stall out after that. So then maybe for 80%, you'll go down to 4 reps, still falling in that range. And then you'd be going into this next percentage range. And then maybe you're doing 82.5% 4 reps, kind of top out there. So then you go down to doubles, let's say 85% for doubles, 90% for doubles, top out for that. And then you do again, maybe singles, 92.5%, 95%. And then by then, maybe you'll have a meet coming up or testing in the gym. And that would be kind of just like a linear way of just going through the percentage ranges and then dropping down your reps as well. And obviously you can stay in one range, or you can even do multiple ranges in a week, all kinds of combinations. You could do multiple ranges in a training session. So you might work all the way through this into a top single at 90%, and then maybe come back down and do triples at 80%, and then maybe come back down and do 70% for 6s, something like that. So there's lots of different things you can do. This just gives you the introduction to what to do to get started, to ease your way into a training block, to kind of avoid injury, work on technique. You can, even if you're starting off with these lighter percentages, you can do this stuff beltless, learn your movements again, get everything down correctly before you start pushing it higher than what this is listed here as your max is actually going up. So maybe you'll be doing, let's say, triples at 90%, or maybe you'll be doing 5 reps or 6 reps at 80%, and that's just because your max has gone up. So these percentages no longer hold since your 1 rep max is not that same one anymore. So that's kind of when you know that you've progressed beyond this, and you have to kind of just go based off of what your last training session was or your last training week. Well, if your last training session you hit 80% for triples, then maybe now you'll be trying to hit it for at least one set of 4, maybe multiple sets of 4, something like that. Another example is there's some RPE charts out there that kind of convert RPEs at a rep range to a percentage. So basically the percentage is just like if you're having a normal day, the RPE would be what it would be. So for example, if you're hitting a single at an 8 RPE, on average it comes out to 92% for lifters, and just based on where you are in training. But that obviously 92% might be off based on whether you're having a good day, a bad day, your max has gone up, whether you're good at heavy singles, maybe you're bad at heavy singles. But this just gives you, again, another idea, and it gives you a bigger rep range based off of the RPE. So for 55% to 65%, you can pretty much do 12 to 20 reps for a single set. For 70 to 80%, you can pretty much do 7 to 11 reps for a single set. 80 to 90%, 4 to 7, and 90% and up, 1 to 3. So this gives you another thing to look at if you're trying to do like a single set, and maybe you compare it to this is one way you can do it. So for example, let's say you do 80% for max reps, and let's say you get 10 reps. Well, then you've gone beyond what is most people are capable of on an average day, the 4 to 7 reps. So it kind of gives you indication that you've gone beyond what your percentages are for that 1 rep max. Or you can do maybe a combination where maybe you're starting off your intro block doing protocols from here. So 70% maybe for 5 reps, and then 70% for 6 reps. And then you've gotten stronger. So then maybe you have to come here and do 70% for 7 reps, 70% for 8 reps, and so on and so on. Maybe then you'll go back here and do 80% for 3 reps, then 4 reps, 5 reps, 6 reps. And that kind of gives you another way of setting your intensity based on what most people can do on an average day here for an all-out set. You can also maybe go down a little bit in reps if you're trying to do multiple sets, and then that kind of falls back into this chart that we talked about earlier. That kind of gives you an easy way of getting into things. Okay, so those are a couple of ways to do it, and those are kind of the things you'll see with the programming that you get, where we're always starting off easy. We're always starting off kind of with things in this range, and that's why you might see 70% for 5 reps to start, and then 70% for 6 reps to start. And it seems easy, but that's kind of just your intro, getting back in the training, and then we'll start pushing it with heavier weights and harder sets, maybe more in this range. So maybe we're doing 90% for doubles or triples for multiple sets on squat and deadlift, maybe in the same session, plus maybe an assisted exercise like block pulls, because we are trying to push it, and you've gone beyond this chart and maybe beyond what your 1 rep max was from your previous meet. All right, hope that helps.